Welcome to a special edition of Gina's Gems. Given the devastation of the wildfires going on in Southern California, we thought it was relevant to talk about what employers with California-based employees can do to support them, in particular, creating an emergency leave and/or a PTO donation policy. Here with me today is Phil Lacey. He manages our Center of Excellence for Absence, Disability, and Life Practice. Hi, Phil. Thanks for joining me.
Sure.
So first, let's talk about emergency leave. So we remember in COVID days, a lot of employers implemented an emergency leave policy, and a year or two into COVID, either modified it or eliminated it. So can you share with us today how to implement an emergency leave policy and the strategy that goes into that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, these wildfires are obviously a completely different reason for having an emergency leave than what we experienced during COVID. But the concept is the same. People have a need to deal with the issues that they're going through, especially these people in Southern California who lost everything. And it's going to be a long time, if not years, before they get back on their feet. To support them, they're going to need time off periodically to go deal with the things that they have to deal with. So a good emergency leave policy, really, you define the people that are eligible. You may want to look at broadening your policy to cover all the kinds of emergencies that exist, such as personal medical emergencies, family emergencies, as well as those that are caused by natural disasters. The other opportunity would be to look at the amount of time you're willing to give. How much time can you grant to provide these people with time off? There are notification requirements, there are documentation requirements, and so these people lost everything, and documentation may be difficult, but they might be able to take pictures of the impacted area. They might be able to provide insurance estimates. If they had any kind of injury during the fires and they had medical needs, they can provide medical certifications for that. Is the leave going to be job protected or not? So those are the kind of the key considerations for emergency leave. Obviously, there are a lot of things that go into that policy that we could expand on, but those are some of the key things to consider.
So the other strategy we talked about is PTO donation. So what does that mean? How does that work if I'm a colleague that wants to help out one of my California colleagues?
Yeah, PTO donation is another great way to support employees, especially fellow employees who want to support their fellow employees that are in California. They may contact HR and say, how can I help? Well, you can donate some of your PTO time. So to set up that kind of a policy, you clearly state who's eligible for the donation, who's eligible to donate, how much time can they donate? Usually you don't let them donate their entire bank, or you want to make sure that they maintain at least a certain balance in their bank after they've donated time. And then there are other implications, such as tax implications. They're pretty simple, they're pretty straightforward, but the person that donates time, basically the IRS looks at that as time forfeited on their behalf. And so that employee who donates can't take a deduction on their tax return for the time they donate, and they're not taxed on the value of the time they donated. The recipient of the donated time, though, is taxed as ordinary income on the value of the time that they received. So you do want to make sure you're communicating clearly to the donors and the recipients of what the tax implications are. But again, donated time can be another great way to support your employees in that time of need.
Yeah. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate you sharing your insights. Obviously, our hearts go out to all of those that have been impacted in California. And if you're an employer that's looking for more information on how to design or implement one of these programs, feel free to reach out to either one of us here. And we hope to see you back for another gem in a few weeks. Thanks again, Phil.